Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Thursday the 8th of July, 2021. Now remember, viewers, you can share our live stream. Those of you that are on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali on Facebook. Those of you that are on YouTube, TT Real Talk, share our live stream. For those of you who have not subscribed to YouTube as yet, please feel free to do so. TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you will know when we go live. For those of you on Facebook, we are currently having some problems with our Facebook page. So you can see us on YouTube, TT Real Talk, subscribe, hit the bell, and you will know when we go live, viewers. So remember, share it, and share it. So I'm giving you the opportunity now to call your friends and your family and let them know Real Talk is going live on Synergy Television. Now, viewers, our office are located at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road in Shoguners. Those of you who are having spiritual problems, you can feel free to contact me, 238-6716 or 339-1670. So, viewers, as we start off our program tonight, we're moving on to education. A representative from the Ministry of Education have stated that 4,000 more devices for students are expected to arrive in TNT next week. Last year, the ministry implemented the Adopt a School initiative, in which members of the private sector gave direct donations of over 20,000 devices to schools of their choice. The ministry also created a means test, which was sent to teachers and principals to determine how many students still need devices. The representative also stated that approximately 23,000 applications, viewers, 23,000 applications have been received so far from schools across the country, and the applications process is still ongoing. So, viewers, we will bring you an up-to-date on these 4,000 devices as it enters Trinidad and Tobago next week. Let's see how many will get and how many will not get. What schools will get and what schools will not get. Because at the end of the day, no one should be left without an education in Trinidad and Tobago. Education is important. I always say there are three key things in our country: education, security, and health. Those are the three main sources in our country that would have the citizens at ease, at safety, knowing that they are secured by law enforcement, they have proper health care system, and their education is number one in the country. That's all we're looking at. That is all we are looking at. With education, we will get a proper job. With healthcare system proper, in case anything happens to our friends and family and Trinidadians, we will be able to get a proper healthcare service. And security. Security meaning that we can go down the road, we can leave our house without having to fear if a bandit will come into our house, or we will get robbed or hijacked going down the road to our destiny. So that is health, that is security, and that is education. Caller, good night.
Saeed, a pleasant good night.
To you, my dear.
Saeed, I want to highlight the children that are writing their CS in the secondary schools not wearing masks. Saeed, all the children in the schools in the San Juan area, I can vouch for. Because I drove by the schools. No mask wearing. Some of the teachers not even wearing masks. What is going on? You hear how much of them again today? 300 and something they've gone back up by. I think it's a 15-year-old passed away.
Yes.
The children not wearing the mask. And in the schools, the teachers not making sure they wear it. what it is going on in this place. Anybody taking charge of this virus? So that means the police have to go in the schools now
to supervise.
When they write an exam, to supervise them to see that they're wearing the mask. They're old enough to know that they are doing the wrong thing, as well as the teachers not setting an example. Wear all your masks and protect all yourself and all your family at home. There are elderly at home as well. So, Saeed, thank you for the opportunity again to highlight it.
Not a problem, not a problem. He said, as always, tell viewers, their comments, their concerns are much appreciated on Real Talk. They are much appreciated. So, viewers, 4,000 devices are expected into the country next week. I hope the Minister of Education would come out and give a brief statement when it arrives next week. So as we move on tonight, feel free to call in 238-6716. It's Bacchanal Thursday. Feel free to do so. Opposition MP Ravi Ratiram is calling on NAMDEFCO to pay outstanding money owed to farmers for their goods. Ratiram claims that several farmers who provided produce for the government's food hamper drive stated that NAMDEFCO is in breach of its arrangement for payment within the 21-day period. He also claims that for more than 2 months, NAMDEFCO have been owing farmers for goods collected for use in the government food hamper distribution program. As such, he is calling for clarity on the issue from Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Clarence Rambarat. So viewers, we took the opportunity to get in touch with Mr. Rambarat, the Minister of Agriculture. So we have him live on the line. Good night, Mr. Minister.
Hi, good night, Saeed. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you for joining us. 3 questions tonight to you, Minister. Well, I would say it's from the public domain. Number 1, can you tell us if the farmers are being paid by NAMDEFCO for the produce contributed?
Of course, so far, the program we've just completed yesterday made us 2 months since the first delivery date. We've so far taken produce from, I think it's now close to 300 farmers.
Okay.
We've distributed packages. In the 2 months, we've distributed over 70,000 families have received packages. And we estimate that so far, the farmers have supplied about $16 million in produce.
16 million?
Yeah, that works out to, on average, the farmers are supplying $250,000 a day.
Okay.
Now, when I listen to what you said in the introduction, if we have been doing this program for 2 months, and there is a 21-day waiting period to be paid, you can't be waiting for more than 2 months. The program is now 2 months. So what you have, in fact, what I posted on Facebook was to show up to this morning, NAMDEFCO had checks for 147 farmers.
Okay.
Waiting to be collected. Some of the checks are dated 27 May 2021. And by this afternoon, they still had 100 checks. So the problem is not that NAMDEFCO is not paying the farmers. NAMDEFCO is paying the farmers.
The farmers not collecting their check.
You may have had, and 100 is not a small amount.
I understand.
So we have checks available to farmers, and NAMDEFCO is current in its payment, and we have the funding available. It was approved in the budget. We talked about that in the media review, and the program is going quite good.
Now, Mr. Minister, can you give us an update on the Food Basket Initiative?
This is the Food Basket Initiative. As you know, we set out to do 25,000 families a month.
Yes.
We've now completed the first 2 months. We've been able to do, so that works out to 50,000 families. But by adding the distribution we made to the 139 councillors and the 12 assemblymen in Tobago, it means that we have now reached more than 70,000 families. And we are on target. We've had no major problems. The only thing, for example, from time to time we have quality issues because we have a quality standard. And the farmers, they find that sometimes part of what they deliver might be rejected for not meeting the quality standard and that sort of things. But the program has gone very well. We're way above target now. And we're heading, as you know, to the end of September. There's been no complaints. The members of parliament are happy. I just said it's so strange that the member of parliament for Cuba North is the one who put out this information. The facility where these packages are being put together is in his constituency. He's never been there. He's never approached us on behalf of any farmers in his constituency. We actually taken produce from farmers in his constituency. And this man lives in his own world. He's totally detached from reality. And the farmers are very happy with the way the program is going.
Now, Mr. Minister, is the food initiative, is it going to continue for next month also, in the month of July?
It's going July, August, and September.
Okay, well done. So I have one more question. Now, I have heard of export TT, right? Now, could you explain what is export TT and how can it benefit the farmers?
Well, export TT can benefit. Export TT is the agency that is under the Ministry of Trade that helps manufacturers to get their products out to the export market. So
yes,
an excellent agency in the sense that it doesn't only help you get the product out, but it also helps you get export ready. So for example, the food safety requirements, they offer grants to help you to meet the food safety standard, to train in management of food safety in the production of your manufactured food items. And they have other grants that they give. There's also an agro processing grant of $250,000 available through the Ministry of Trade, targeted for persons who want to be in the export market. And through the Ministry of Agriculture, we have our 100,000 grant that helps people who are going in several things, including agro-processing for the export market. So those grants are available. Now, in terms of agriculture produce, the agency to help with the export of that is NAMDEVCO, and the Piaco packing house of NAMDEVCO is approved by the U.S. Department of Agriculture for the processing of agriculture products for the U.S. market. So anybody wants to get products into the agriculture products into the U.S. market, they need to work with NAMDEVCO. The CEO of NAMDEVCO is very experienced. She was once the manager at the Piaco facility. Very experienced in export of agriculture produce, and the support is there and available to anybody.
Now, in our closing, what would you like to say to the farmers, Minister, from your point of view in agriculture to the farmers? What would you encourage them to do?
I thank the farmers for doing what they do best. The farmers have kept us alive. They've kept us fed. You go to all the markets are up and running. Every time we have, last weekend we were under the threat of some bad weather. I was worried. We escaped it. Today was we had some heavy rains. I'm always concerned about them in this weather, but the farmers have really been working hard and focused, and I'm very proud of them, and I want to tell them continue. They know that they have my support. They see me all the time. They message me all the time. They talk to me all the time. And I think as we go along, we will continue to get better.
Now, Mr. Minister, I know you will try to make yourself available for the agriculture sector, but is there a WhatsApp number or an email that farmers could get in touch with you direct?
They know they have it. They have it. There's an email address that they use. It's called agriessential@gov.tt. They also get me on Facebook.
Okay,
through
nice.
Messenger.
Yes.
And they in some cases they come to the ministry and they fill out a form with all the information, and I contact them the same day or the next day. And farmers have no problem reaching me. They know that.
Mr. Minister, I do want to thank you for taking the time to join us tonight and to clarify what has been taking place with NAMDEVCO and the farmers concerning the checks. Thank you so much.
It is common sense. If I tell you we have 147 checks waiting to be collected, then it can't be said that we're not paying people. We're paying the people. People have to come and collect their checks.
I understand. So it is the delay of the farmers not going to collect the checks?
In some cases, that is the issue, because we have these checks. They go back to 27 May. We have these checks. And then there's another payment that is to be made very shortly. That is within the 21-day period, and those checks have been processed. And once the funds are released by the ministry to NAMDEVCO, but all those farmers are aware, because they know they have been paid, and they know that they've been getting their money, and they know we've been taking the produce.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Minister, and you and the family, please be safe out there.
Same to you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my friend. So, viewers, we have heard the minister. According to Mr. Ratiram, farmers have complained to him. We had the minister on air, saying that there are 147 checks are available at NAMDEVCO. So, to the farmers who have not collected their payment as yet, please visit the NAMDEVCO office. Your checks may be there waiting for you to collect. So, viewers, we cleared up that. We even had some questions to the minister about export TT, which anybody going into agri or want to export to the US agriculture produce, they can also do so. So, viewers, as we move on our program tonight, we're moving on to the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance, feel free to call in 2386716. It's Bacchanal Thursday right here on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Minister of Finance, Colin Membert, have stated that the government cannot delay the collection of taxes. Membert stated that his ministry has been bombarded by requests by persons asking for tax to be deferred. However, he added that in order to provide relief in terms of grants, the government would be required to collect the revenue in order to run the country. He stated that it was a catch-22.
Might I also say that we in the Ministry of Finance and the government as a whole have been bombarded by requests from persons in the business sector and individuals that we defer taxes. We can't, because in order to provide the relief that people also want, the relief in terms of grants, the relief in terms of loan facilities, guaranteed loan facilities, etc., the government requires revenue. So if we were to defer the collection of taxes, we would not be able to run the country or provide all of the relief that people are asking. So it's a catch-22.
Now, Imbert, we have a caller line. Caller, good night.
Good evening to you, Mr. Saeed.
Good night. Go right ahead. You're live on Real Talk.
I appreciate what you're doing, and I hope that what the minister is saying is correct. But it's very difficult sometimes to believe these guys, because the Prime Minister said he wasn't closing Petrotrin.
I
And
understand.
look what happened. So parents, the children, they expected, what the children is expecting from the parents is that the parents manage the household with the finances, whether limited or big, manage it. And if the parents fail in that aspect, you know what position the household would be in. On a bigger scale, the government was mandated by the electorate to manage the economy and the resources of this country have failed. Tell them that they don't like it, but according to one of the ministers, a spade is always a spade.
I understand.
So what they need to do, they need to really get their act together. And like I told you the last time, it's not about me and you anymore, it's about the younger ones who inherit this country.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay, well, the best.
I thought he going at, I thought he hung up there. I do apologize, my friend. I do apologize for that. Imbert noted that the amnesty, which would run from July 5th to September 17th, would allow business that have been unable to pay their taxes over the last 15 months due to the pandemic, do so without incurring any penalties. So, if over the last 15 months you have not paid your taxes, you can do so between July 5th and September 17th without any penalties. He is reassuring that there is no penalty from July 5th to September 17th. Pay your taxes without penalty if you haven't done so in the last 15 months. Now, he also recalled that the previous amnesty allowed the government to collect $2.4 billion in revenue. He stated that the tax amnesty is a productive measure to mop up unpaid tax.
The last amnesty that we implemented yielded an astonishing sum of $2.4 billion. We never expected that. We were expecting maybe $1 billion for the most. We got 2.4. And therefore, a tax amnesty has proven to be a very productive measure in terms of mopping up unpaid taxes outside there.
You know what I love? I love how he said this, that they was not expecting the 2.4 billion. They were expecting about $1 billion. I love that about him. I love that about him. On Bacchanal Thursday, I love that. That is a wow. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Said.
Go right ahead.
Said, the Minister of Agriculture now flash up there. Our father body can money, why they are paying the cane farmers, they use only euro, dollars, and they have money to pay the cane farmer.
Now, a lot of farmers have been calling me concerning the euro dollars. Now, when the PNM administration took office 5 years back, I understand that the euro paid Trinidad and Tobago cane farmers money. And the Prime Minister allegedly came out and said that they collected the money, but they used it. They used it. So from then to now, I have no idea if they have accumulated the money to pay the cane farmers or what are they waiting on. But that is the information I had back then when they came into office. And he did say that. Because when I told cane farmers that, they said, yes, Said, we listened that, we heard him. But from 5 years now, you're telling me they can't make up the money to pay us back when they used our money? That was our money. That was the cane farmers' money that they took and they used. So why are they not now cutting costs somewhere to give us back our money that is rightfully due to us? I understand what they're saying. I understand what they are saying. And it is rightfully theirs. It belongs to them. So I am asking the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, if you all could allocate money to give back the cane farmers their money. Give them back their money, it belongs to them. Because the Prime Minister said, when I work, I want my pay. He said that. He said that. The cane farmers work, now they want their pay. I don't blame them for that. I don't blame them. But I will have talks with the Minister of Agriculture and see how best, if it will lead us into a fruitful discussion on behalf of the farmers. So viewers, moving along tonight, call it good night.
Hey.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
Hey, Sai, how you doing? Good evening.
Good evening, I'm good.
Talking, or you just a straight talk to talking. Concerning about the borough council and the county council about the equipment, they really have it. But what has happened, them guys who has operated the toilet and not to go out to work. That way they just do all the time.
I
From
understand.
truck to tractor to backhoe, and they figure out they go stay, come there and lock in and go home.
Wow.
The machine and them not working. And when it's done, somebody taking parts and selling it to contractors. So they can't have machinery operated. Right? And the next thing again, this Minister Agriculture, wasn't he fight against Ruston Parry in Miaro? And he say if he lost, he go pack up and go. He lost, but he's still here. they bring him in Shogunas, and he get burned and roasted here in Shogunas. So why he don't pack up the bag and thing and go?
I understand, I understand.
The minister now, the Chinese man, right? He buy a vehicle in this time, and he talking about this boy in Oropoot. Rudal have a vehicle like he, but he don't understand that the vehicle he bought, Rudal bought, was not in this time.
Who is the Chinese man?
It was before. You understand? And I don't know why did I be talking. Probably the money he saved, over $500,000. He go and spend it in Houston anymore. We are meeting this.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. So viewers, we're moving along tonight into energy. Energy Minister Stuart Young has stated that the government will not allow gas station owners to come together to jack up fuel price. This as he responded to claims by UNC Senator Wade Mack that liberalization of the fuel market would result in high gas price. Young stated that no amount of screaming will change the fact that the government is committed to protecting the motoring public from price increase. He added that there is going to be a competition at the pumps because once all the gas station owners purchase their fuel from NP or Uniped, they can put a profit margin on it. However, he noted that consumers will be protected.
So we're going to see the introduction of competition, despite what Senator Mark is trying to project. There is Minister of Finance, and he agrees, and also it is the government's policy, cabinet's policy, is we're going to put a cap on that. So we want the population to understand. If, for example, in that way you protect the consumers, we have been having the consultations with the petroleum dealers to get an understanding of what are the percentage margins that they need to make it work. So that is part of the process that continues.
Now, viewers, Young also stated that it is the government policy to allow gas stations to import fuel. So gas stations now have the opportunity to import their own fuel. He added that Paria has an obligation to provide fuel security at competitive price. And this is what the company have been doing. Call a good night.
Hi, good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead, my dear.
Okay, a couple points, and I'm going to be very short. One is, Mr. Young was saying today that in 2020, NGC experienced a $2.1 million loss. And that is due to some negotiations that the previous government, which is my dear Kamala Prasad when she was in power. How can you be blaming her at this point? When you have been in government for almost 6 years now, I'm going to be there for the next 4, God willing. How is that possible that you are blaming the previous government for all your mistakes? Still, another thing, Mr. Clarified Clarence Rambarat. You are saying that the checks are there for these farmers and them since the 27th of May. Don't you think if these farmers knew the check was there since the 27th of May, they would have gone for their money?
I understand what you're saying.
I don't think this is right, and I don't think that's correct at all. You have to think in terms of the farmers will not be complaining to Mr. Rajiram, Mr. Rajiram. Have they had that kind of communication with Mr. Amarat? I think we need to be truthful in this country, and the government has been untrue to us from day one, and they continue with their lies. Call member, Mr. Taxman, you continue to feel that we are mops here and we are mopping up. Imagine the taxpayers have to pay, and then they're taking that money to come and give us back as a grant. So we have to pay the tax to get it back as a grant. That making sense? And then another thing, all the floods yesterday, have to pass through all these floods yesterday. Which one of them put on our boots and went out there to see what they can do and assist? Not one of them. They're driving a nice car and a nice Prado and all kinds of things, and they're time with us. But we have to pass through with our vehicles through this flood and can't start our vehicle afterwards.
I understand.
Today we had a freak storm. Anybody knew about that? None of them. They're not even caring about the people of this country. And we, the citizens, need to stand up. We need to wake up, smell the coffee. It has no milk. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Trade and Industry Minister Paula Gopiskun have stated that Trinidad and Tobago have spent approximately $78 million a year on importation of luxury food items. Gopiskun recalled that Finance Minister Colin Members indicated that a 12.5% VAT would be applied to a range of luxury imported foods in order to reduce the demand for luxury items and the demand for foreign exchange. Gopiskun noted that for the last 3 years, imports of selected luxury items were valued approximately $78 million a year.
The government recognizes the need to prioritize the use of the country's limited foreign exchange on essential items. Accordingly, the Ministry of Finance in the 2021 budget statement indicated that the full value-added tax rate of 12.5% will be applied to a wide range of luxury imported foods, with the intention of reducing the high local demand for luxury foods and subsequently the demand for foreign exchange. And currently, the Ministry of Finance is reviewing the list of luxury food items that will be covered under this initiative. It should be noted that over the past 3 years, 2018 to 2020, imports of selected luxury items such as smoked salmon, lobsters, grapes, apples, pears, strawberries, peaches, and other fruits was valued at approximately 78 million TT per annum on average, and that is during 2018 and November 2020.
Now, viewers, we would like to have a discussion about this particular topic tonight. Now, also, she added that increasing domestic food produce and export promotion were among the strategies being used to reduce TT food import bill. She also reminded that there is a $500 million stimulus package for agriculture in the budget. Gopiskun also said there are currently 4 tenants at the Maruga Agro-Processing and Light Industrial Park. The park is advertised as offering leasable space for the growth and expansion of operation in the processing of agro-products and light manufacturing. I will get some more information on that from Mr. Rambarat, agro-processing, and see how far we could go with that. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
But listen, there's a lot of people doing things outside. Makila Pandey was at my business place giving out hampers.
Okay.
And nobody knows about it. I would like her to call me back, please, because I didn't take she number. Next point.
All right.
Balanja facility was the best thing Seabreeze. Then they come and they rent Brooklyn. The minister said in 3 weeks' time he would have a report on Brooklyn. Is 15 months past now.
And still that report haven't been released.
Mr. Lai Singh ain't get that yet. Because I from Grandy and I could tell you.
Nice, nice.
Is one of the PNM people own Brooklyn facilities.
We understand that already, yes.
Right, okay. Thanks very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, my friend. Remember when I was mashing up the Alsing on that? Remember that? He's afraid to come out and read the report. What is he fearful of? What is he fearful of? 3 weeks turned into 15 months. What are you afraid of? Come out and lay it in the public domain. Come out and lay it. Hello, Fred? You cannot play mass and Fred powder, you know. It don't go hand in hand. If you're afraid mass, don't play with the powder because you're going to look like a mass. And if you're playing mass, don't afraid powder because you will get powder in old mass. So here it is. Luxury food item. Who imports luxury food item? The groceries. Is the groceries dependent on the ministry? No. Are they dependent on trade and industry? No. Are they dependent on agriculture? No. Are they dependent on any organization? No. The supermarkets, owners of supermarkets, owners of chains of supermarkets, they import a bestseller into their grocery. They will import what would sell fast, quick turnover. Are they getting the money from trade and industry? No. Is the government giving them any money? No. Is trade and industry giving them any money? No. They are taking their own capital and turning it over. Is the trade industry ministry giving them US? No. Are they getting it free? No. They are purchasing the US from various banks at the bank rates. And if they do not get it at the bank rates, they will be forced to purchase it outside of the bank at whatever price is at their desk. So how could the trade and industry minister come out and say they want to try and fix that? They want to raise tax on it. And then went on to say now, there's a $500 million stimulus package in agriculture. Caller, good night.
Good night, sir.
Go right ahead.
Yes, two topics. One, if the government set a budget $45 billion, and now that the oil price is doubled,
yes,
right? Why do they have to stress out the people of Trinidad and Tobago by raising the gas price?
True.
Right? What are they going to do with all that extra money? And secondly, if 10 doctors or so or more died in Indonesia because of the vaccine, how do they expect us to take that Sinopharm vaccine?
I understand. Thank you, my friend. So, trade and industry, the minister wants to add more VAT. Why? Why are you adding more VAT? When the owner of the grocery, they are importing a fast-selling product to their grocery, to their business. You see, they are not getting the amount of US currency that is required from banks. So they have to go black market and buy it. And in order to keep their business afloat, like any other business, if they have to pay $7 or $8 on the outside to get the amount that they need, by all means, they would buy it. They would buy it. You see, a demand by citizens, by individuals going to the grocery, by cornflakes or strawberries or whatever they're importing, is something that the human being like. They love the taste. They love the flavor. So they will go for it. Caller, good night.
Very good evening again, Mr. Said.
To you, my friend.
That was the other part of the contribution concerning this because I saw it today, earlier on today. Who could afford to buy luxury goods?
I understand.
Not the poor man. But here it is. So tax on luxury goods, no problem. But the same parliamentarians getting a tax exemption from the luxury cars.
Correct. Correct. You going? Thank you, my friend. Didn't the Prime Minister say they're putting a cap on it? I ain't seen no cap nowhere yet. So we're going back to the luxury food item. Let me tell you something. The smallest child in our house loves cornflakes. The smallest child in a house loves cornflakes. Strawberries. They love strawberries. But it comes with a price. It comes with a price. You see, it is on the shelf. And if you could afford it, and you love it, and you could maintain that vice, they will purchase it. They will purchase it. Because I will tell you something. We're paying gas tax, we're paying tire tax, we're paying road tax. And look at the condition of the roads. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. That is why I introduced a Wednesday night public concerns night where we only deal with the road, the bridges, and the drainage. Call a good night.
Yeah, good night, Said.
Go right ahead.
Said, you know, apple don't grow in Trinidad, grapes don't grow in Trinidad, fruits don't grow in Trinidad, the plum don't grow in Trinidad, and all up to right. So when you hear they spend the foreign exchange and they bring it in Trinidad, anything that comes from abroad does make double and triple the amount of money to make back the money on profit. So it's not to be lost. So I don't know whether they're talking that how much money going out of the country, money going out of the country, but they're making back the money in Trinidad, but they bring it.
Correct.
Understand?
Yeah.
So with them, they'll be only talking, only fooling people, boys.
But they can't do that on Real Talk. You see, I will play a video clip. Thank you, caller. I will play a video clip and then explain certain things to the population so they would understand. You see, when they talk in a high language, an influential language in Parliament, I will come on my set and I will break it down to the small man. I will break it down to the small man. Now, cornflakes, strawberries, apples, grapes, berries. Kids love these things. Kids love these things. And once their parents can afford it for them, their parents will buy it. But this is what I don't understand. You see, the owner of the grocery, they purchasing their stuff at their cost with their money. Not money from the government, not money from trade and industry, definitely not Gopi School money. They have a business to run. It's their money, it's their profit. They are paying their taxes. They are paying their business levy tax. They are paying their income tax. They are paying all the taxes. They're paying NIS. They're paying health surcharge. They're paying everything. They're paying everything. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night again.
Right.
The caller just now talk about apple and other fruits. Why is our local fruits more expensive than those things?
I understand what you're saying.
Because those things are imported.
Yes.
4 mango for $20 now.
Yeah.
So why it is? Let Mr. Rambaran deal with these issues.
I understand what you're saying, and thank you for highlighting it, caller.
Thank you again.
You see, this is where you get real talk, you know. Real discussion. Discussion to fix problems. Discussion to solve problems. We bring a problem on the air and we look for a solution to fix it. That is what we do. And where do we get that? Only on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Caller, good night.
Good night, Said. How are you doing?
Are you okay? Go right ahead.
I'm wondering, these politicians who ruin our lives now, has any one of them ever run a successful parlor? They have not run a successful parlor, but they are running billions of dollars in business for us.
I understand where that's coming from.
All right, you have a good night.
Thank you, thank you. So viewers, we're moving on to the Ministry of Health. I would love this, you know. Believe me, I would love this. The Ministry of Health has observed an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in persons over the age of 60 within the last month. This was confirmed by epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines.
Also note, although it would take some memory, that the over 60 age group has slowly but steadily been increasing over the past, let's say the past month. We've seen that they've been accounting for a steadily increasing proportion of the total number of cases. And when we look at that broken down even further, those in the 70 and above age group have also increased to some extent.
They noticed that. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Saeed, good night. I have a little problem here. I don't know if you can assist us with it, please. My mother has COVID, right? And she was at Point Fortin Hospital. And they took her from there after she spent 2 weeks there and bring her to Augustus Long Hospital in Point up here. And this is a week and something now. We have not gotten any information, absolutely no information on our mom's status. We don't know what to do.
Wow.
It's very frustrating. We don't know if we are alive or we don't know what is the situation. I don't know what Mr. Dialting have in place that we cannot get no information. It's totally unfair to us. That's our mom. That's our mom, and we have no information at all whatsoever.
I understand. Call me tomorrow, 339-1670.
Okay, Mr. Ali, thank you very much on a good show.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, question on if there was a link between the rush for vaccine and the rise in cases. Hines stated that no data points to the vaccine rush fiasco as driving the spread. He stated that the ministry monitored for spike 2 weeks. They monitored spikes for the last 2 weeks after this incident occurred. But there was not any data to show this.
The first question that you ask is an interesting one, and the short answer is actually no. What we were seeing is sort of a steady increase over a given time frame that actually preceded that incident where there were people lining up for a time period that was actually reasonably short. We looked at and we actually looked for an increase or a bump or a spike at the sort of 2 week mark after that particular event, and actually did not see one. And the possibility is that because it was in limited numbers of places and the duration was actually cut short by dispersing the crowds, etc., the event itself may not have had the time to sort of generate the spike that we may have been looking for or expecting if that had gone on for longer or had involved more people.
So in other words, they don't know where the spike came from. In other words, they don't know. All I could say is that the cases are rising. It is spreading. That is all, it is spreading. Caller, good night.
Good night, sir.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, that spike is because of the people line up for vaccine. Nobody passed where they was in the health center.
Caller, I do apologize for cutting, but there's a feedback from your end to our line. We do apologize for that. Now, viewers, he also said a large number of the cases seen in this elderly category of people was because of clustering occurring within elderly care facility. So it's a cluster within the elderly care facilities. Dr. Hines further added that infections in the elderly population outside of the elderly care facilities came from infected individuals within their households. When the government or the Ministry of Health decided to lock down people in their house, did they realize that the infected persons within the house would spread it to the entire household? Did they realize that back then when they decided to lock down everybody in their home? So according to Hines, Dr. Hines further added that the infections in the elderly population outside of the elderly care facilities came from infected individuals within their household. Dr. Hines is saying, he's saying that. He is saying that. And that is what I said on an earlier show. When you are infected and you are locked down in your house, the entire household will get it. I wonder if they did catch my point when I was saying that. Look, Dr. Hines is saying it now. You think I was talking foolishness? Well, then what are you going to say about the doc? Caller, good night.
Hi, good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
Concerning the food, the import of the luxury food, the poor man buys apple only around Christmas time. So that's the only thing that we show is Christmas. When we could afford to buy an apple around Christmas time. So who is really buying the luxury food? Another thing is that Mr. Graf is taking in front before in front take him. So before you could ask the question, he given the answer that no, the elderly, the spike of the elderly is not from the lines that we had outside every health center. When the licensing said, come and get it's an open house, come and get your vaccine. And then when they did end up there, they had to go and say it's 50 people only. This is the reality that we face with these people. They don't even know, and what, maybe you should be running the government, you know, Mr. Ali. Because I think you could give them a little bit of advice.
You see, thank you for calling in. If I run for government, people would say, Saieed, you're biased. I'm telling you, they would say, Saieed, you're biased. So I'd rather stay on my show here and help the entire population. I will highlight issues. I will push for legislations. I will push for amendments. I will push for laws. We will try to get it signed by the president. And I, Saieed, by getting these things done, I would cover the entire population of Trinidad and Tobago instead of just a sector. So I will do more on my show than joining a government. And I have always stated that I don't bash PNM. I don't bash UNC. I will bash the individual. I will call out the individual that is sitting on a particular chair with a particular portfolio in his hand. That is the individual I am going after. I have nothing wrong with the PNM, nothing wrong with the UNC. Everybody have their own choice. But when you hear you belong to the ruling party and you are sitting down on a chair with a portfolio that have been assigned on to you to serve the people with taxpayers' money running through your ministry, I side will call on you. And I don't business who you are. I don't business who your friend is. I don't business who your family are. You have offered up yourself to serve the population of Trinidad and Tobago, every single individual. It doesn't matter what creed you belong to. It doesn't matter what color you belong to. You offered up yourself to a particular chair with a particular portfolio to serve the people. And I side will call on you. I don't business who he is. I don't business who he is. My job is to hold the government accountable for what they do. Why am I saying that? Why am I saying that? You see, not everybody could spend $1 million plus per year to have a production running that will serve the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago on calling in those in authority to answer to us. So that is why I will hold them accountable. On behalf of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, I will hold the present administration and the individuals in the administration that have a certain portfolio to govern his constitution. I will hold you responsible. Because the first thing you will come to your mind is that, boy, you see them could say what they want, you know. I'm not listening to them. I'm not going to listen to what them say. You know why? They're not in my class. They're not in my category. They don't have what I have. Get that thought out your head. Get that thought out your head. You see, I will spend my money to run my production, to call on you who's sitting down on that chair with that portfolio, with taxpaying citizens, money running through your administration, to make sure that the people and them get answers. Hence the reason why every time I push for a legislation, or every time I ask for a law, or I ask for an amendment, the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Faraz Al-Rawi, does understand why side asked for it. And what is the purpose of it. And what is the demand of it. And what is the result of it. That is why it is getting passed. Because when I bring it to you, I'm telling you what I want it for. And I'm showing you the effects of it. And I'm showing you the results of it. You will bring it forward, debate it, pass it by the president, sign it, and release it in the public domain. That is why Real Talk with Saieed Ali have a track record for asking for laws and legislations and getting it done. I didn't just come here to bump my gum. You see now, the reason why I just do that is that, let's just say there's no bail for rape. You rape, you're in front of a magistrate, 10,000, you go your way. Rape. The magistrate cannot do anything but work with what they have in their hand. Is a bailable offense? We can't deny bail. Yes, we understand the brutality in rape. But we have to give them, according to the law, the constitutional law, we have to give them bail. It's a bailable offense. So when I come in, I tell Faraz, I say, Faraz, no bail for rape. I said, just imagine you have one daughter. A man force her to have a sexual act, and it tarnish her memory. It break her down, it break her spirit, like if you break her Pepsi bottle. I said, what we doing with that? I said, you're shattering one individual while one having pleasure. So no bail for rape now would fix certain problems. The individual will understand, well, you know what? He committed this act on me. Yes, I am shattered, but he's put away. He cannot walk the street and do this to another individual. So that is where again a result. I tell you about rape. I tell you about the outcome of it. And I tell you why I want it. Hence the reason why I just get things done. Hence the reason why. It's not just coming and bragging, rap. No, it's not about that. It's about getting things done. Solution to problem, problem to solution. So viewers, we out? Viewers, we are out of time for tonight. But thank you for joining us tonight on this Bacchanal Thursday. I did share a little education with you all just now. Remember, Friday night is our Lovers Lane night. Real Talk Relationship segment. So tell your friends, tell your family. Every Friday is Real Talk Relationship segment on Synergy Television from 7 to 8 p.m. So viewers, until we meet again, Allahumma toba il kadi illa zar'amma ale za'unte labi il kaduna. Who would you follow? Who would you look up to? Somebody that is under the white line or somebody that is causing progress for you? Until we meet again, good night.